Hey you, Bravo's now in Canada.
I just got chills.
If you know Bravo,
I love that.
You love that?
you know Vanderpump Rules,
Why does it have to get so complicated?
Summer House,
Don't activate me because you've not seen me activated.
Below Deck,
I'm not your friend, I'm your captain.
Top Chef,
Hi, Chef.
and Housewives. Definitely Housewives.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to this.
Bravo, now available.
It's insane.
Subscribe now with your TV service provider.
Fall in Canada has never been hotter.
Frequency Podcast Network. Stories that matter, podcasts that resonate.
Every economist on edge.
High living costs.
The real estate market is showing
An erosion.
Canada's economic struggles.
Value of the loonie against the greenback. And rising unemployment. Canada's economy is sliding dramatically.
I'm Jordan Heath Rawlings. This is Today in This Economy, where we keep you informed on what the latest economic news means for you. Navigating this economy has never been more confusing or frustrating, and we're here to help with that. This week, after multiple reports of replenishing car inventories leading to a drop in new and used car prices, we decided we needed to find out if that's actually true or not, and what you need to know about buying a car right now in this economy. So I am here with Lorraine Sommerfeld, who is a columnist at Driving.ca, and Lorraine is perhaps my favorite person to talk to about cars. Lorraine, how are you?
I'm great, Jordan. Thank you.
Last time I talked to you in this economy, it was like the worst time, I guess, to buy a car, and prices were through the roof. Has that changed?
Well, now there's a lot more cars on the lots. We can see they're all full up again. Prices are still through the roof, though, and I don't think they're coming down anytime, ever, frankly.
Why is that?
As soon as you get consumers inured to something, like they get used to it, you can just keep coming at them. And we've got increasingly more technological vehicles. They cost more. They cost more to fix. They cost more to buy. And I'm sorry, but when places, I love Auto Trader, I use them all the time, but when they say, oh, the average cost has come down to $66,700, I'm like, that's almost $70,000. I don't care how you fancy it up. That's crazy.
But there's more inventory, right, on the new car lots. Does that mean anything for used cars, which is probably what our listeners are looking at if the average car costs $66,000?
Well, we saw the problem was, and I did this too, I bought a car in 2020, 10 minutes before everything shut down, and I leased it. And when my lease came up, I only owed $15,000 on it, but the car was worth $30,000. And so I kept it. And that's what a lot of people did. So that really seized up the used car inventory. It's starting to move through again. People are buying. About half of them will trade in a car, which, puts up the numbers of used cars available. Used car prices have come down accordingly, like a little bit. But a lot of times, depending on the car you're looking at, you should absolutely be looking at what it would cost you to get it new, because interest costs are higher on used cars than new cars, because new cars come from the manufacturer with their own, interest rates. So for a lot of people, especially lower down the scale, you might only be out a few $1,000s and go new, get a full warranty and everything else that goes with it. So consumers have to be really careful. And they also have more to choose from. But the popular stuff, you're going to get in line. If you want that, RAV4 hybrid, you're going to be waiting months for it, if not years.
I'm going to digress from the economic part of this conversation for a while, because you just said something that I'm really curious about, which is, like, as a consumer, how much better is it to go new? And, like, how much cheaper would you say a used car has to be of, like, the same model before you would make that trade-off? Like, I guess, how do you weigh those two things?
I think you have to look at what your budget is, and don't buy a car by the month. Be really, really cautious about that, because a lot of times you go, oh, I can afford $600 a month, but not for 8 years. Like, that's insane. So don't do that. So be careful. They can talk you into anything. They can make your monthly payment work no matter what you want to buy. So, you have to be restrained and not be emotional about it. Used cars, the ones coming now they've a little bit higher mileage on them, a little bit older. We're going to see a kind of gap in that market for a little while. Cars are built to last longer. Cars are definitely safer. Look at used cars. But if you're looking at a small one like mine, I drive a little hatchback, I'd be kind of stupid to buy it used when for a few thousand more, I could probably get it new. Higher end stuff, okay, you're going to see a way bigger gap in there and it might be worth it. But a word to everybody that's going, oh, I can get a Mercedes or a BMW, a used one for this much, they cost a lot more to maintain. Your oil change is going to cost 3 or 4 times as much. Your tires are going to cost more. So if you're going for the status, be cautious and understand that the ongoing costs will also be higher.
You and I talked, I guess it was a couple months ago, early in the summer, on the big story because of the pending Chinese EV tariffs. And one of the things that we talked about were the really cheap Chinese EVs and why we can't get them in Canada. You mentioned you drive a hatchback. Like, I guess, where is the value in terms of cars you can buy on the market right now for people who are listening to this who are not lining up to drop $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 on a new RAV4, but do need to get a car?
I think increasingly the manufacturers are taking away a lot of choice from them. A lot of them aren't making smaller cars anymore. They don't make as much money off them. So they're pushing these giant SUVs and bigger CUVs. Please look at what your actual needs are. If you're driving around that thing empty all the time, you don't need a car that big. And I am kind of overwhelmed by how many people are buying massive vehicles. And the tagline, of course, is you'll be safer in these vehicles. You will be, but these bigger, heavy vehicles are far more dangerous for everybody else around you. I would love to see a return to some sanity when it comes to the size of vehicles, but you can start with your own. What's the least you could do? We get 3 surfboards onto my hatchback. It's fine. So, really consider what you actually need your vehicle for. You could rent a minivan for a week to go to the cottage with Grandma and all the kids. Most of them have unlimited mileage. You can rent whatever you need.
What would you tell somebody right now who was perhaps putting off purchasing a car, new or used, over the past year or two because these prices have been so high, the inventory has been scarce, and now the inventory is coming back? You're saying prices are not really going to drop? Like, at what point then do you just need to shut up and bite the bullet and, like, it's going to hurt,
I just saw a thing this morning from DeRosier Consultants, and apparently year over year for June, new car sales were down over 8% and used were down 6%. That's 1 month, is only a snapshot. It doesn't mean much. But what it says to me is that people are seeing the interest rates are coming down. So I think a lot of people are going, I can get another few months out of this vehicle. I don't think we're going to see costs of cars coming down remarkably. We're going to see better offers coming from manufacturers that need to move out vehicles, maybe not, again, not the RAV4 hybrid. Everybody wants that one. So you're going to get a deal if you're standing in a shorter line, if there's vehicles that you're more willing to, compromise on, or they fit exactly what you want. But I think right now consumers are keeping an eye on those interest rates going, I can wait a little bit longer for that to come down. So there's two parts to this equation when you go to buy a vehicle.
When you do make that call and you look at where the interest rates are, and I know we're expecting them to come down some more, and you walk into a dealership and let's just say, for the sake of it, that you've already decided the kind of car that you want. What is your advice to people to make sure that they can afford it and to not get bullied, I guess? Maybe bullied's the wrong word, tricked, but, to make sure they don't walk out of there having blown up what they were prepared to do.
Bullied and tricked are very fair words. This is a kind of dirty industry. I'll be honest, I haven't seen it get a lot better in the 20 years I've been working in it, and certainly not the 20 years before that when I was buying, unfortunately. If you are not certain or very sure about this massive purchase, take someone with you who can be calm. You don't want someone who's going to get red in the face and scream and yell and be a bigger bully. That doesn't help anybody. But if you're uncertain, ask someone to come and help you and just listen for you and take notes. The other thing is there is no cooling off period. We fought for this, we lost it. So if you sign that contract, that's your contract. Take it home and read it before you sign it. Read the stuff on the back as well. If you're leasing the vehicle, there's going to be a cost. Even if you elect to buy that vehicle, you'll have to pay a charge as well. Make them explain it all to you. Know ahead of time if you want rust proofing, just go to Crown, people. Don't buy it from the dealer. Tinting, all these things. Make those decisions ahead of time very calmly and then decide. Extended warranties, I used to say, no, don't do that. Now I consider those because cars are increasingly more complex and they don't really know what's going to go wrong with a lot of them with the computers and stuff. So just make up your mind in a calm setting and vote with your feet. If you're not certain, leave. I know so many people that will happily sell you a car and not rip you off.
I know you said this before, but I'm sure there are people listening now who didn't listen back then, and I found it so valuable. If you're looking at a used car, where do you buy it to not get ripped off?
You make sure that the dealer or used dealer, new dealer, doesn't matter, they're registered with OMVIC. OMVIC will protect you if something goes wrong with that vehicle, and they have a fund that they can pull money from. If someone is in front of their house pretending they live there, they're a curbsider, if the information on the green slip doesn't match where you are, if they say, oh, it wasn't registered before, that's why there's no plates on it, stay away from unlicensed dealers. It is not worth the grief. If it's someone's mom, selling her car, that's obviously different. But when you're just looking at ads and going to meet somebody in a weird parking lot or something, no. Stick with a dealer. You at least have something to fall back on, and it's worth it. And also get your mechanic to check it out before you buy it. And if they say no, guess what? Don't buy it.
Now that there is more inventory, for the models that there are a lot of right now on the lot, does that, especially as you said, sales are down because people are waiting, does that improve your bargaining power? Is it a myth that we think we can go in and go back and forth and haggle with the dealership? Like, what should people know about actually trying to, bump the price down?
There is definitely deals happening now. Manufacturers are, they're moving the stuff you're going to get. If it says 0% interest, yes, they build that in somewhere else, and a lot of people will scream and yell about that. However, if that's the vehicle you want, 0% interest is pretty good. But again, make sure the price of the whole car is what you're considering. And I think it's not so much haggling, but if you're doing a trade-in, know the value of your trade-in. Not the retail cost, but the wholesale cost, because you'll make money back on the difference in the tax between your trade-in and the one you're buying. And sometimes, especially at higher level vehicles, that can be thousands of dollars that you're not going to have to pay in tax because you get that back on the trade-in. So just like they are looking at every single part of that contract and trying to get money out of it, you can look at every part of it and get money out as well. But you just have to stay calm. That's a big thing. Don't get emotional. Be prepared to walk away and talk to someone who, some people like doing this. Some people like buying cars. I think they're freaks, but they like buying cars. So find one of them. Somebody will talk to you.
We've been talking about the difference between new and used cars and the increased inventory. Is any of that stuff different in the electric vehicle market right now? Is there more inventory there? Are prices budging at all?
There's more used EVs on the market, definitely. EVs are depreciating a lot faster than ICE vehicles at the moment because people aren't certain going into a used one. For someone that's previously had one and it gets it and understands it, there's some great deals to be had, definitely. And for someone coming into the market, you can probably get an EV for a really great price. The depreciation is huge. Just know that, cars don't appreciate typically. And EVs right now, people are still a little sketched out.
Right. And cars are honestly, they're the thing we use to illustrate the immediate loss of value, right? So you think people should internalize that?
Well, recognize that it's a tool and you need this tool, and you don't yell at your other tools for not being worth more after you buy them. So it's okay. I don't think we have to look at it like real estate, which people get burned by that too. But no, you need it for what you need it to do. So buy a tool you can afford, take good care of it. Maintenance is so much cheaper than repair. Pay attention to your tires, take some driving lessons if you're terrible, and just treat it the best way you can so that it can serve you the longest time possible. That's the best way not to get sucked up into being underwater on a vehicle, is buy it and keep it and take care of it. Now I sound like everyone's mom.
One of the reasons we call you is because you give such sane, clear advice. So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Jordan.
Hey, you. Bravo's now in Canada.
I just got chills.
If you know Bravo,
I love that. You love that?
you know Vanderpump Rules,
Why does it have to get so complicated?
Summer House,
Don't activate me because you've not seen me activate it.
Below Deck,
I'm not your friend. I'm your captain.
Top Chef, and Housewives. Definitely Housewives.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to this.
Bravo, now available.
It's insane.
Subscribe now with your TV service provider.
Fall in Canada has never been hotter.